I was working self-checkout today at my store. It has those self-checkouts that have the bagging area scale. People don't know how to use those and thus are bad at stealing in them. These people also happened to be the only ones in the self-checkout area at the time because grocery store thieves are very smart. I'm watching them mess up like normal and soon enough they start just straight up not scanning items. Some stuff I remember are a 2-pound tube of meat, some bread and some sugar. I'm thinking to myself "Ugh." I tell my front-end manager and she calls a store manager up front. Manager gets there and is like me, noticed you might have not scanned some things. They start going through the couple's stuff and checking what they actually scanned. Obviously this didn't sit well with the thieves. They, especially the woman, starts throwing rude comments at me and saying how I should have told her, would have gotten the same reaction regardless and it's not policy anyways. Then she throws out the classic "she shouldn't be working here and should be fired, what's your name, and let me see you outside." My name tag was flipped around and not showing my name and I wasn't going to tell her it. I wasn't saying anything which pissed her off so she was like "Why aren't you saying anything?" all the while her idiot companion was agreeing. Then the lady says maybe I should just go to a regular register. So my store manager voids the entire transaction and takes over while I go cool off because I had teared up by then because I tend to do that while angry. I come back a few minutes later. Lo and behold they didn't want a bunch of their items and those had to be put back. Got to love the reactions of thieves when caught. If you're going to steal, be smart about it. I was the only one working that day, and I was halfway through cleaning when I had to take a phone call. There were no customers at the time so I just left the spray and wipe bottle and cleaning cloth on the display shelves as I ducked behind the counter. When I finished the call, I was just about to go back to cleaning when a customer rushed in. He saw the bottle and the cloth and immediately grabbed it and started frantically spraying a banner we had up. I walked over as he was furiously wiping it and asked him what on earth he was doing. He said, "I saw you had signs saying you're hiring, check out what a good job I can do." Baffled, I nervously responded, "You don't have to do that, man, it's all good." But he didn't stop. He was in such a frenzy that I was apprehensive to push any further, so I let him continue while I grabbed the phone. I punched in the number for security but held my finger over the call button, while standing near the only door I could lock from the other side. By this point he had unhooked the banner from its stand and laid it on the floor while he was on his hands and knees scrubbing it like a serial killer scrubs a blood stain. The entire time I had no clue what he would do next. Eventually he put the banner back up, returned the cleaning supplies to me and left without another word. It took me a moment to process what had just happened. Not gonna lie though, he did a pretty good job with the banner. This will be short, I think. So I work in a deli and usually the customers are nice at best, jerks are all around most of the time. Well, one customer came up wanting some ham or whatever sliced thin. Now she was pretty impatient and a little rude, but it didn't bother me as I had pretty much just got there. Well, after I had finished her order she thought I was mad at her, for some reason, and in my best customer service voice I said, "Ma'am, I am not angry. In fact, customers don't make me mad." After she heard that she started getting all mad and stormed off. I was completely confused on what made her cry. Either she was surprised I wasn't mad or was annoyed I wasn't. Whatever the reason, she started crying and walked off. Never really heard about it after that. So I work cashier at a retail store that does buy online, pick up in store, and my first post here will be about my first real Karen experience. Ended up being medium after typing it all out. So a customer comes up to me at the registers with a few items to buy, and asks about the order she placed earlier that same day. Not unusual, our BOPIS cage is right at the registers. Many people shop around before picking up their BOPIS orders. I search the cage for her order, and it's not there. She says it's fine, she'll pick up the items herself after she buys what she brought up to the counter. I let her know that we'll have to verify the items to cancel or fulfill the order once she brings them up to us, and ask her for the name and order number on her order so we can go into the system to go in and do what we need to do with it. She writes down the info for us to use later, and expresses frustration about how it's not ready when she got here. For reference, it was a very busy day so nobody had time to go pick her order. We had till 10 a.m. the next day to pick it before it was overdue. She goes and picks out the things she wanted, and goes to walk right out the front without being able to verify them. I call out to her about needing to verify the items are correct, and she starts getting angry, saying how she already paid for them, her card was already charged, how it was all BS that she couldn't just grab the items and go. She was yelling at me by this point, and making me physically shake from fear, as I cannot handle people yelling at me. I call over the manager to help me out, since I'm having trouble with her and have gained a nervous stutter. While we're waiting, a coworker asks me if I'm okay, since I'm shaking. I tell them how I can't handle people yelling, and the lady decides to mockingly state, "Oh boo-hoo, they yelled at me, and told me that if I can't handle that, then I shouldn't be in retail. I can't afford to get anywhere better in terms of a job." Manager arrives and gets into an argument with her as well. But the lady relents and lets my manager verify the items, claiming that she'll never come to our location again. Manager reassured me that said lady was a known problem customer and let me go on break a bit earlier to calm down, and also reassured me that I didn't do anything wrong. So there's this thing about how it shows what a person is like by where they leave their shopping cart. In our lot you are never more than 60 feet from a corral, yet people still leave their carts everywhere. So I was gathering carts and watched this guy who was parked less than 10 feet from the corral put his cart against the flower bed. For reference, the flower bed is about 3/4 the size of a parking spot, and it went car flowers, then corral. I immediately think this guy is just an a-hole, and I continue about my business till I hear a giant crash. I look over and this guy had hit the cart he had just put there. All he had to do was walk a few feet. He still didn't put the in the corral. I used to work at a grocery store a while back. The holidays were always crazy, and there was something about this time that really brought out misunderstandings. I worked in the meat department, and we sell little appetizers like cordon bleu bites or bacon-wrapped turkey bites, stuff like that. These come pre-packaged from a vendor since they're seasonal. We have a meat and deli, prepared food, department. They are separated, and there are multiple signs stating what each department was. The meat department does not sell ready-to-eat foods. The deli does. Most PPL realize this, and there wouldn't be any issues. I'd quit. All the drama happens when I'm ever there lol, but I was off work the day we got this call. A customer called the store and said she was having tummy aches and explosive diarrhea. She got a stomach bug. She was asked why she called the store and said that she bought the little appetizers from us and it made her stomach hurt. She was apologized to and asked how she cooked the product, that way we could offer advice on what temp and time to use. Most PPL asked when they got the product, so if you didn't, it was assumed you knew. Ladies and gents, she ate the meat raw. Absolutely no cooking was done, and she was popping them in her mouth like candy. I just couldn't believe it and proceeded to tell every customer that bought them to remember to cook them. I was met with haha, who would be stupid enough to not cook them? LOL. Blase, cook your meat products PPL. Don't blame the workers who are literally there to help you cook it properly, so you know, you don't end up in the hospital lol.